We're joined by Eilert Hinrichs, who is a partner at L.E.K Consulting. Eilert, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you very much for welcoming me. Very happy to talk about the topics today.
Thank you. So thinking about L.E.K's own research, there's a need for 120,000 new care home places in the UK over the coming years. But how do we finance this?
The finance is a very interesting question. The key driver for the additional demand will come from two sides. A, we will have an aging population, therefore generally more people will unfortunately require to go into care homes. But secondly, and more importantly, we will have a dementia impact here which will drive significant bigger demand for those. Now, we have an aging stock of care homes in the UK. That in itself needs to be replaced, and that needs capital, but we need more because we have a growing sort of need. That will most likely be financed by the private sector. The private sector will only invest when it sees the returns that the capital will require. So therefore, we really also need to make sure that it's not available, land is provided for those, but also that we have sufficient fee levels in order to generate then the returns that come from land, building, and clearly operating these homes.
And thinking about this question of dementia then, so operationally, what does that mean for a care home to be developing itself towards offering dementia care?
Firstly, dementia almost is a current problem. When I talk to operators, 65-70% of all their residents today probably have some form of cognitive impairments. Not necessarily dementia, but some impairment. So therefore their care needs to be adjusted to take account of these conditions. But it's not only about the care, but also the design. I think quite often the design and the environment actually is stimulating the behavior, not the disease itself. So therefore we think about the design. But they also need to think about actually who is providing the care. It's very important to get the family involved in the care. It's very important that everyone who's involved in the care home is part of what they call a project. So it's not just the carers, it's also the kitchen, it's the cleaning staff, it's the reception. So everyone in the care home really has to be involved, and therefore it needs training. So we really need to be trained, this stuff, and therefore we need to make sure that the care homes are designed to take care of them. We probably need freedom. So again, research would show people should move freely in the home, and therefore you need to make sure that the home's actually designed to do that. Activity is quite important. So the really sort of a dementia-ready care home has a lot of different features around training, design, and actually sort of then the individuals involved.
And I guess thinking about this, obviously care homes are one aspect of this, but home care is another aspect. So what do we need to consider from a home care perspective in terms of addressing this trend?
Indeed. We probably have a bigger demand for dementia care on the home care side, because there's probably in the UK at the moment about 450 to 500,000 people who could go into care homes. But when we talk about dementia, we talk about millions. We probably have more like 2 million people. So from that perspective, more people actually have and require care in their home. So for the home care operators, the first thing really very important is that they need to recognize actually that someone has dementia and or is in the early onset of dementia. So what therefore can they do in the early stages in order to provide better care? They then need to train the staff not only to identify but also actually to deal with them, because they are probably slightly harder to look after. There are situations which are actually stressful. So therefore, if they would improve the training, they would also probably improve the stability of their staff. Therefore, they would return the attritions, which basically makes sure that you get better care, but you get better attrition, lower recruitment cost, therefore better care. So again, there is a whole a package of things that they could do. Not many people actually do as much as they probably should do over the next sort of 5 to 10 years, but we're on a journey. And overall, we as a society, we need to think about a more holistic care concept, which is not only care homes, it's not only home care. I think it's a more holistic one that really takes all settings into consideration.
Of course. Well, Eilert, thank you so much for these insights, and I very much look forward to the session tomorrow as well.
Well, thank you very much for having me. So it's really a pleasure to talk to you about this topic.
Eilert, thank you.